Daisy Lowe. I'm not sure who that is, but she's probably like a model. There she is again. Dakota Fanning, who obviously was a child actress. And here she is, like all the other child actors and actresses. They start throwing these up at a young age, and you start to see their life. There's Dakota Fanning again. You got the classic kind of demonic tongue manifestation and doing the one eye. Because that's important to remind folks of, if you're tuning in and watching this right now, is that this isn't a flesh and blood conspiracy against you. Like, what you're seeing is for all intents and purposes, as far as I can tell, when we're seeing these kinds of photos, it's sort of the demonic within manifesting for you. So that's Dakota Fanning again. This is creepy looking. There's something in Japan where they have these giant eyeballs. Dakota Rose. Not sure who that is, but you got the eye patch theme going on. Aaliyah. And this is the music mogul Dame Dash. Hip hop. And these are, I'm sure we could figure out who they are, but that's Aaliyah, who died a tragic death early in her life, married R. Kelly at the age of 15 secretly. What is happening in Hollywood? Damien Eccles, West Memphis 3. This is, I can't tell if they're identical or not, but Peter Jackson of Lord of the Rings, who made a favorable documentary about Damien, who, since he's been released, having done an Alfred plea, which means you still admit guilt, but you're being released, incidentally. But since being released, because a host of celebrities in Hollywood who happen to be occultists themselves lobbied to get these guys out of prison. And then there was all kinds of other money coming in from Hollywood. The reason why a lot of people think that they were... But anyway, he shares a tattoo similar, very, very similar to this, that he got sometime after making that documentary. But a lot of people believe the reason why they did that was to sort of help affirm, for people who practice Crowley's religion here in the world, anywhere in the world, to see that as a sign that like it'll work. Like, even if you might ritually sacrifice little kids, that you will be released from prison. And as a matter of fact, it's not just Damien Eccles. You see that a lot of the cases where people were convicted of satanic ritual crimes maybe 10, 20 years ago are now getting released from prison with, the state saying, oh, we made a mistake or whatnot. And I'm very suspicious of that. So there you go. Damien, of course, is continuing. As a matter of fact, he's made a career now of writing books on magic with a K, which is Crowley's characteristic. When you see magic with a K, that's what's being referred to is Crowley's form. We're not talking about stage magic or parlor tricks. We're talking about black magic and the occult. That's why you see that on the Red Hot Chili Peppers album with the K. But yeah, this is a deep one. As a matter of fact, he's got witches' runes here on his... That's the crow's foot, also known as your peace symbol, actually, there. There you see, he's got the Ankh, the Egyptian Ankh on his hand. And then, boy, I bet if you just studied his body, here he is doing the vow of silence, as usual. So he's letting you know he's part of the network. This is some guy, Damien Hirst. I'm not sure who he is. Not somebody who would probably come on your usual suspect list. If I can recall, he kind of is just sort of a well-known TV personality somewhere, but there he is. You know, totally makes sense. Just an artsy photo. There he is again. And once again, folks, take note of his rings. Necromancer. There he is again, Necromancer. What did Rihanna start this shh thing where they put it on their finger? Here you go over here too. These are two Olympians, I believe. There you go. Dani Alves and Neymar. I think they're athletes. I'm pretty sure. 007, of course, that's kind of reference to John Dee of Enochian magic. Ian Fleming was actually an occultist. The rabbit hole goes very deep, folks. Daniel Craig. But because I believe the tie-in is that actually much of what we're seeing, and with the Laurel Canyon stuff that I was talking about yesterday, with this idea that, sure, some of these people are just avowed occultists, but some of them actually were kind of more like the Dakota Fanning or the Britney Spears, who were like kind of born into this. It's generational is what we're dealing with. But a lot of these people, from Houdini on down, Houdini was actually a CIA asset or OSS at the time. And that's why it was originally investigated, the splitting of personalities, because they could use these people as moles, because they could create. As a matter of fact, in what's his name, George Esterbrook's book Hypnotism, and he's a Rhodes Scholar, head of Colgate University's psychology department. He's dead today, but he was one of their programmers. In that book, he talks about how they not only successfully created what you would call a Manchurian candidate, but then he explained part of the process of what you would do. You'd split the personality into multiple personalities, and then what you would do is begin the process of, let's say you would take what you would call personality A, and you would make personality A a rabid communist, right? And then you would create personality B, who would be this loyal American, right? Very patriotic. And personality A, the communist, has no memory of or awareness of personality B. The loyal American personality, according to George Esterbrook, has full knowledge of both and will basically divulge what the communist learns. So it's a no-brainer in terms of why they would be doing that research and going forward with it. Even though it's, no matter what your excuse for doing that to a person is, it's like, it's extremely satanic already. And science is just completely immoral, right? Daniel Gillies, I'm not sure who that is, but we're in the D's now. There he is again. There he is again. It's always the same set of poses. You know, this is the guy who is in. We always say, well, Hollywood's telling us such truth. This is from the guy who acted in that movie Get Out, which everybody thinks is like exposing the MK Ultra and the mind control and all that. It goes back to Hollywood's love of duper's delight, where they like to show you things. But this guy probably literally is under mind control. Daniel Radcliffe, he's had some stints in some rehab facilities. Rehabs have often been They used to have one in Laurel Canyon, actually. It was called Wonderland Rehab Center. Now they call it the Hills. But I know that it's the stuff of conspiracy theory, especially if you're new to all this, but a lot of the celebrities get sent to these places and they come back singing a different tune than they were when they went in. He's also got, you noticed how he got all these strange phobias these days? He's got some kind of problem tying his shoelaces, as far as I know. But yeah, Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, all those Harry Potter actors, they all throw out the symbols. I mean, it was, come on, that was one of Hollywood's greatest propaganda films. So there's Daniel Radcliffe again, just, signaling. There he is again. So what could be happening, this is just a theory on my part, is that this is, let's say, the personality B, who's also a fully functioning individual, manifesting for you. Now, that would be, again, people are not like thousands of personalities, okay? Like what we're really talking about when we're talking about multiple personality, or what you would call multiple personality disorder, the reason why they have these distinct personalities and all this, because it's actually a demon that has been attached in the process of splitting those personalities. And so it's actually really not even the person. When you're really talking about, it becomes, it's difficult to talk about. Anyway, this is Danielle Bergoli, Cash Me Outside girl. She was on, I believe, Instagram recently, complaining that there was like a shadow figure in her room. And she was like crying on camera, sharing this with everyone. Just another symptom of when you're living in this world and you're dealing with the demonic at that point. That's why you hear a lot of these crystal meth folks talking about seeing shadow people all the time, because the barrier has become lowered. You're sort of, it's almost like you're astral projecting in a way. You're dabbling in the occult. The moment you're taking a lot of these drugs, in the root word again in the Bible for drug taking is pharmakia, or for sorcery is pharmakia. So there's definitely an association between sorcery and the taking of potions and concoctions and mind-altering substances. This is why that's why it's not a mystery. People say, well, they just haven't encountered Christianity yet or whatever. But when you look into like the Native American shamans, or you go down South America into Peru, that's why all the shamans, the medicine men, are using these psychedelic substances. It's because you're literally, sure, you'll see stuff, you'll encounter even entities that are universally reported in these things, but that's because you're now at that point dabbling with other dimensions we were never supposed to dabble in. Danielle Fischel, not sure who that is, but again, take note too, the classic tongue thing. Danielle Harris, not sure who that is. Danzig, really one of the most satanic bands. Really creepy stuff, especially when you start to look into like the literature they would hand out at some of their early concerts. Russ Dizdar talks about that, where it's like literally depicting in comic form like sodomy of children, and it's really out there stuff. Daphne Groneveld. This is some kind of fashion model. There, Daphne Guinness. Not sure who that is, but probably another fashion model. There they are again. I'm so glad that I'm not a part of this little world where you're trying to... Everybody's trying to out-edgy the next person. There you go. Take note here, too. These are Templars crosses. Highly associated with the Illuminati. There you go. Apparently this girl, this is her again, Daphne Guinness. She apparently likes the weird metal hands thing. Actually, it sort of alludes to a couple things here. Like it looks like a knight's armor, which is interesting going back to the Templar theme there, but also kind of like this merging between like a human and machine in a way. There she is again. Boy, she really likes the hand things. This is the thing, is that these people, they adorn themselves with all the makeup and the accoutrements because they're shallow. There's nothing really there at the core. And so this is what gets people to pay attention to them. Daphne Guinness again. There you go. Daria Maligina. I'm not sure. They always have these cutesy little tiny tattoos. I'm going to definitely start to explore the whole heart theme, because you'll even find them throwing up the one-eyed heart. It's definitely one of their symbols. But it's not been covered very well up to now. Daria Strokehouse. There you go. Daria Werbawi. Again, this is another ID magazine. I've never seen a single photo on their cover. You'll even find it all throughout their magazine, too. Where this is just the theme. Cover up your eyeball, wink. We saw this yesterday, Dario and Asia Argento, his daughter. And just... since I got you guys here, let me, that's Anthony Bourdain's girlfriend, by the way. These are the kinds of movies that he made. They're horror movies. A lot of them are overtly satanic, with satanic ritual and sacrifice in them. And you just, you tell me, does this guy sort of have a cloud of, there you go, you got some MK Ultra going on there. You tell me, do you sense something there? A presence at all? But we've sort of just sat back and consumed this kind of garbage in our culture for so long that we just think Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, all these things, it's just normal. No, it's not normal. Like, what is literally being promoted is psychopathy and serial killing and murder. That's not... But people want to claim, it has no effect on our culture. Sure it does. Come on. Get out of here with that. Pink Floyd, got the pyramid, dark side of the moon. Pagans are obsessed with their moon worship. Dasha Malatina, not sure who that is. Deshaun Wesley. Again, they always try, especially when you're dealing with the fashion industry, they try to dress it up real artsy, There is Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, with Steven Tyler. That's not just, he didn't just decide to hold his toothpick that way, because as you'll see, Steve Tyler throws it up all the time. And look at his tattoo. If you doubt, by the way, folks, that all this eyeball stuff has anything to do with the devil, why has he got the eyeball with, like, the devil's tail? right there. Right? Are you starting to wake up yet? Or are you still in denial and saying none of this is possible? By the way, here too, it looks, I can't really make it out that well, but it looks like he's got a skull ring on. Of course he would be a necromancer. Dave Matthews. Come on, Adam. Dave Matthews too, he just makes really good vibe music and it makes you feel good and all this stuff. Yeah, that's the whole point. You know, it doesn't have to be Hail Satan in the lyrics. Most of the time it's not. Just eat, drink, and be merry. YOLO. You just gotta live for today. Or that, or it's about, you know, some kind of dysfunctional relationship. It's just, you know, none of this stuff uplifts. Lost for you, I'm so lost for you. Right? How uplifting. Dave Navarro. Boy, his arms are just a tale of where he's been. David Beckham. Everybody loves him. All the ladies love and swoon over David Beckham. You might wonder why David Beckham is hanging out with the pentagram shirt at the beach. Just a little stroll at the beach. It's because, again, they're all... In order to be in certain positions in this society, you have to... it's not an option. You know, this is why a lot of artists, you'll hear them complain, like there's, you know, ones with talent, all the talent you can have and all this, but there's like a wall. They just never make it. And yet then these talentless hacks, a lot of times just they make it, and they get promoted constantly. Look at it. Look at like Harry Potter. The reason why everybody thinks that these things just caught on. No, they were marketed to you guys. The music, the books, all the things that they're literally marketed to you. If every magazine starts talking about a Harry Potter, like everybody's going to start buying the books and it's going to become a New York Times bestseller. Duh. I didn't say, somebody said Beckham talentless. I didn't say, a lot of these people are not talentless. But it doesn't have anything to do with talent. In order to be in the places that you need to be in, you literally have to bow down to the beast system. Otherwise, you're going to have tremendous problems in your career. David Blaine. David Bowie, who everybody wants to say was an Illuminati sacrifice, and he even talks about it in interviews about how he went through this Crowley phase in the 70s, and he kind of makes it sound like he came out of all that. But if you watch his career all the way to the very end, like all his videos, his album covers, everything he was promoting, it was all occult still. So he didn't change. Here you go again, you know, David Bowie. And just bizarreness. You know, I've gotten used to it as being a part of my culture. So have you. But again, the kinds of artists and musicians and the things that people just consume these days, our grandparents, they would have. It's like an alien world today. Ziggy Stardust and Gene Simmons, and our grandparents were trying to warn us, but we thought they were real goody-goody. Oh, you're so goody-goody. It's just a stage act. No, it's not just a stage act. They knew, because age brings wisdom. A lot of these younger, every young person thinks they're very wise. In fact, they're usually very stupid and very ignorant. But they think they know everything, and we've all been there. I definitely thought that. But actually, the reason why they were able to say such a thing is because they had the context. They were watching as the culture declined and devolved into something darker and darker. But we were missing that because we came late to the game, and we didn't want to listen to them because they're old fogies who, they're not hip with the times. And meanwhile, we're simply victims of our culture. All of us. Brainwashed. Literally, because there's been a literal psyop to whether we intellectually worship the devil or have no clue that we do, but our lifestyle is a worship and homage to the devil. It doesn't matter either way. It's a descent into devil worship as a society. And they push the envelope. You know, these are the harbingers, the people that are on your televisions, your movies. They're the ones who lead the way year after year after year to push this next boundary, push that boundary, you know, break down that moral barrier. And we're headed to the point where we're gonna reap what we sowed. So there's Bowie. We're still on Bowie. Bowie threw it up all the time. When he died, the Grand Masonic Temple played his music in their temples. Lets you know. They're basically letting you know. It wasn't just because they liked his music. They're like, he was one of us, you know. And Freemasonry, so you know, it's just it's literally your introduction into the occult. That's where it's Hogwarts. You start there, and then you figure out where your specialty is down the line. There you go. You'll even remember some of Bowie's lyrics, like, I'm closer to the golden dawn, surrounded by Crowley's imagery. Or surrounded by Crowley's. I got that wrong, but you know. So he's a Thelemite for sure. David Byrne, Talking Heads. There you go. If you like the Talking Heads, there you go. Just so you know who your band was brought to you by. David Lee Roth, same thing. And please look here, by the way. Again, these pictures are so instructive for you. So here's David Lee Roth throwing this up, and then he's got on his jacket the famous picture of the Pope John Paul doing that. And it's an actual picture, too. You better start to figure out what's going on, everybody. It's definitely time. De La Soul. Interesting. De La Soul again. Oh, come on, but these guys, I mean, come on, they're against the man. They're against no, you're a sucker. You've been a sucker. We all have. Swallow your pride on that one. It's not about, I couldn't be duped. Yeah, you can. You can be duped. A lot of us have been duped. And that's why we are where we're at today. Debbie Harry of Blondie, of course. So if you like Blondie and you still listen to that, just remember, if you're a born again Christian, you're just driving down the road because you like your 80s Blondie, just remember, Jeremiah's guilting you in your head here now, that it's brought to you by the God of this age. Just a reminder, and that you're actually not supposed to fit in with the world and look worldly. That being a Christian actually means something. Deepika Padukone, I'm not sure who that is, but there you go. The occultist will always tell you, but that's not, I wasn't doing devil horns, I was doing I love you. But you'll always find the same, you know, you'll see them doing it always in variation. Here's Drake when he was young. He was a child star up in Canada. And now we see the fruits of that. Every country has their versions of Disney and Nickelodeon that are part of this programming. This is Dele Ali. He's the guy who's popularizing this in the soccer forum now, getting everybody to do this. So ridiculous. Demi Lovato. There you go. You got it all right here, guys. You got it all. And you see, too, it's like, you know, if you split her face down the middle, it's like two different faces. Like she's two-faced, right? So over here, normal girl. Over here, you got the one eye, you got the tongue thing happening, you got the devil horns thrown up. Kind of interesting. Demi Lovato again, same thing. It's like they're literally like showing you, I'm split. I was split. Here you go. Here's a little heart. It's not a pyramid. It's the heart, or a diamond. But there you go. And if you know, I'm not sure how far along we're going to get today in this one, but I'm going to continue with this until we get to Z. But we'll see a lot of other celebrities doing the one-eyed symbolism with the heart, to help you realize that when they do it over their chest or they're just holding it up, that it means something much different to what you're interpreting it as just being like, oh, they just love. It's probably eros love, lust. Demi Lovato again. There she is again. These people they even look like just different people every time. But that's Demi Lovato again. There she is again. And, no, it's just some kind of gem ring. Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher's, the Freemason Ashton Kutcher, who wants to help the kids. His ex-wife, well-known Kabbalist, so is Ashton Kutcher. Denise Van Outen. There you go. Some kind of fashion show, throwing up the double horns for you. Because she just likes Gene Simmons and rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. Well, if if you have eyes that see, even if it were just that, as you call it, like, that's satanic. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, that's literally satanic. So there even when you're throwing that up, like, you're still subtly, whether you know what you're doing or not, you're letting people know. Dennis Hopper, yeah, he used to hang around with a lot of the Laurel Canyon folks too. Charlie Manson circles, all that good stuff. There he is, throwing up the vow of silence. Dennis Quaid. It's not just that he's got his hand there. You can see it's pressed against the eyeball. But he doesn't have this one opened. But is there more of Dennis? No. There's Denzel Washington. Of course, we've seen him with Jay-Z too, throwing up the pyramid. I mean, this guy, Johnny. We won't get to him till much later, but Johnny is, boy. And of course, he's one of the guys that helped to one of the most instrumental guys who helped get Damien out of prison, who we discussed earlier. Der Graaf. This is some European metal musician. There you go. Look so friendly too, don't they? They just look like they're just so playful. It's just such a playful thing you're doing there, isn't it, sir? Why do you always? It's if it's not this, they're like flicking us off. I've seen one eyes where they're flicking you off while they're doing the one eye. It's just they have no respect for you. There you go again. There you go again. He just loves it. But of course, he's a metal musician, so that's all it is. That's all it means. Derek Ho. There you go. Deshaun Stevenson just wants to let you know. He's got Abe Lincoln. Man, these people too. They always have too. Like the ink. It's like they can't. Like they're not enough. I'm not sufficient. And so, how do I draw more attention to myself and expose my narcissism? Well, I'll just continue tattooing myself all over the place to make me even more interesting to the eyes. The amazing Desmond, this young boy who's being touted all over television these days. For us to continue to accept this whole transgendered business. One-eyed symbol here. You'll see him on a couch with an old drag queen who's talking about ketamine, and then Desmond motions like he knows exactly what's being talked about and pretends to sniff the air. He's 11 years old. This was from a story that was done. He was at a New York City gay club at night. Michael Ehrlich was present, and others, where they were throwing money at him on stage as he danced around like Gwen Stefani. Here's some one-eyed symbolism from Desmond. Here's another. And you got everything there. You got the pentagram and the covering of the eye. Also kind of alludes to Wizard of Oz a little bit. And don't ignore this, too. He's being promoted in the United States, right? To you. Look at his gloves. You know, he's the new red, white, and blue. This is the face of what we're becoming. Brought to you, it's letting you know, brought to you by. Look at this kid, man. It's sad. Dev Patel. Seriously, man. Like little boys are like deciding on their own one day. Like, I want to put on makeup, and come on, man. Dev Patel. Okay, I think he's a Bollywood actor. There you go. Devon Aoki. Again, we're still in the D's. It's going to be a very long series that we do. She just wants to, for whatever reason, cover up her eye with a little tiny leaf. There she is again. With some kind of... she looks like some kind of tribal person, but they're trying to be artsy, as usual. Here, this is some documentary, East Side Sushi. They do it right for you on the front of the movie promotions and the DVD. There you go. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's worldwide, folks. Diana Agron. Not sure who that is, but maybe some of you out there do. Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, it's not just you gotta, in order for you to understand what's been happening to us, you gotta go to the very beginning of the industry. And frankly, you gotta go through all history. Satan's been working toward this end. But it really, the brainwashing of society really started to go into full gear. And Satan learned that the way that you attack is with secularism. Because if you come at people with Satanism under the guise of religious auspices, nobody's going to accept it. Very few will. But if you make them think that it's just that there is no God, as Nietzsche said, God is dead, and that then you can slowly get them to accept and adopt it. And you don't believe in God or the devil, but you're just, you're living out for the lusts of the flesh. You're YOLOing. Got one life to live. I'm gonna just live it up. So because because everybody tells me it's okay, and I'm a man and I'm attracted to men, I'm gonna pursue that in life. I'm a woman. I'm attracted to other women. I'm gonna pursue that. Well, because all my TVs and my news anchors are telling me that Desmond is super amazing, I'm gonna like when my 6 or 7 year old comes to me, and his name's Billy, but he says like I'm actually my name's Emily. I'm gonna just totally embrace that and accept that and go out and get him a dress and his makeup kit, and maybe even a mini skirt at that age too. Disney? Oh, you think that there's nothing to all these little conspiracies of the way they show you things in their logos. Again, man, you can be asleep if you want. From the very start, Disney. Here's Selena Gomez. This is one of the ways she was a child star before that. You could find her on Barney, actually. But Wizards of Waverly Place. Come on, Wizards. They've been promoting and normalizing witchcraft and the occult, making it look cute, and delivering it through like kids who seem like cute and innocent, to make you to take down the barrier, to make you say like, well, this isn't bad. Again, you've been confused. The same industry that makes this look cute also makes the devil look like sinister and evil and obvious all the time in their movies, right? They know what they're doing. The devil knows what he's doing because he's like, actually, I'm really beautiful and cunning, and I can dupe you really well. So I'm going to also brainwash you to look for me here, where it's obvious, but not over here where I'm really doing my work. Sleight of hand. It's sleight of hand. Dita Von Teese. There you go. There's Dita again. I guess I'm not sure who she is. Might be a fashion model, might be an actress, as usual. And I will note again, not as extreme as in some other cases, but if you want to have a look here, looks like all the lights aren't on there. Looks perhaps somewhat dissociated to me. Almost like you would, like if you caught someone, you catch a deer in headlights, It's kind of the feeling I get. The Dixie Chicks, Somebody, man, if you ever find one of Natalie Main's thrown at the blatant symbolism, let me know. She's one of the ones that lobbied to get the West Memphis 3 out as well. My suspicion is that I've seen the others actually throwing up some of the symbolism and wearing, let's say, shirts with pyramids on them for official releases and that. But we're dealing with something here that is high-level witchcraft. In my estimate, I suspect. Let's put it that way. This guy is named Dizzy Rascal. This is DJ Havana Brown. So if you're young and hip and you're 25, something, you go to the club and you know who DJ Havana Brown is, just so you know, you've been told, if you happen to see this, you know who it comes from. So you can't dance around and do your club drugs and all that and do it in ignorance. DJ Tony Prince, good friend of Jimmy Savile, the late Jimmy Savile. He's a very well-known British DJ. There you go. He attended Jimmy's funeral as well. There you go. He's letting you know. They're all... Brother, Jimmy Savile was getting covered by the Process Churches magazine in their old magazines. It's all Mick Jagger too. Like it's all. It's a network. There he is again. Just in case this is the same DJ Tony Prince of the UK that we just talked about. This is a photo of him literally at Jimmy Savile's funeral. I guess he just likes Gene Simmons too. He's just all about like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Is that what it is? Dolores O'Riordan of the Cranberries. You got the tongue. Why would you be... What are you doing? Like you're just walking somewhere and like somebody finds you on the street and they're taking photos and you're like, I'm going to do this devil thing with my tongue hanging out for them. There she is again, lest you doubt it. There she is again of the Cranberries. She's dead today. Dominika Szymanska. Not sure who that is. Looks like a fashion model to me. There you go. Don Cheadle. Good actor. Talented actor. Hotel Rwanda. But I'm a member of the club as well. Don Omar, There you go. Wants to let you know everything's A-okay. Because that's the look on his face too, like A-okay, man. Everything's A-okay today. No, it kind of looks dark and sinister. And you'll see that a lot of when they're throwing up these symbols, that people are like, oh, they're saying everything's great and all this. Like, why are you mean mugging me at the same time? Why are you flicking me off? You know? Donald Glover, of course. I mean, come on. He's at the Met Gala as well. Met Gala. If you ever want to know, guys, you know, that's actually a classic witchcraft pose there. Oh, I know, I get it too. Well, why did you include Trump's going after him all? Really? We've been hearing about that for a long time, haven't we? How he's just... Meanwhile, ain't nothing changed. Business as usual. The news flash for you folks, if you're watching this, is that a reality TV star became your president. But it's not my cherished person, my cherished idol and celebrity. You're still trying to follow men. You know, you're trying to follow men and think that they're going to be your savior, and not realizing your only savior, because this is all diabolical and supernatural evil that's going on right now, is going to be Jesus. You need to put all of your energy there and stop thinking that these men and women are going to be the next, you know, they're going to take care of everything for you, because they're not. It's business as usual. Now, God can use a person like this, just as he did with King Nebuchadnezzar, you know, just like he used Joseph's brothers, his intentions against him for good. He can do whatever he wants. He's God. But we need to stop looking to men. We need to start praying. People say prayer doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything, it's stupid. You need to get out there and act. No, you need to actually become a believing people and pray to God for godly leadership. Danielle Luna. There you go. Luna. Take note. Luna. You know. There she is again. Also giving you notice a lot of the makeup that we get. And it is attractive. That's the cat eye or whatever else. But it's Egyptian. You'll notice the same sort of makeup sort of patterns in the iconography in ancient Egypt as well. Doris Day. Oh, come on, she ran Catholic Charities, and she was such a great person. Well, name any celebrity. We've already covered so far in this whole series a lot of celebrities who you think are, you know, outwardly it looks like, oh, they do really good stuff, they do really good work. But we don't know any of these people, guys. We don't know these people. You think you do, because you've seen them enough promoted on your news broadcasts and wherever else. You don't know any of these people. Not personally. There she is again. Doris Day. Dove Cameron. Not sure who that is, but maybe some of you do out there. Is a drag queen. This is the new theme with Desmond and everything else going on, is that you got the weird drag queen library time. Again, like, why is nobody... I can understand everybody wants to be tolerant and accepting, but, like, nobody's just stopping to say, like, WTF is going on? Like, this is just... It's weird. There you go. Like, why would this be... Clearly, you know what it is. They're trying to normalize. This is what they keep doing with each new next generation, is that they lower the bar each time. Next thing you know, like, they're going to be having Gene Simmons with his tongue hanging out, like, visiting the preschools to talk about, like, Hail Satan to them. because we've already learned as a culture. They've been honing this experiment they've been doing for a while, and they've known. If they promote it, if they jam it down your throat, especially if they capture the youth, and they got the youth in the 1960s, but not the real youth. What they're really interested in is getting them even younger to indoctrinate them into their line of thinking. Here's Drake throwing up the 666, and again, these people are like a tapestry for the occult. Throwing up the 666, he's wearing his logo here with the owl, and then he's got a tattoo on his arm of an eyeball, of the all-seeing eye that you see on the back of your dollar bill, mind you. Still not convinced, huh? Let's keep going. There he is again, throwing up the devil horns. Does he, there's no indication from his facial expressions or whatever else. I mean, his thumbs are not even placed in a way where you could say, oh, I'm saying I love you. But just, there's no indication that this is like some kind or benevolent sort of thing. It's just like this casual, like, oh, we all do this all the time. We flash it right in your face. Ha ha ha, you have no clue what we're doing, do you? You dummy. I think you're a dummy. There he is again. And again, if you look at the face, too. This is all spiritual. Look at that. Look at that. We're going in real close here. Something's manifesting there. Oh, but we're just imagining that. It's just a picture. Yeah. There's Drake again from the same video. He's so cool. Honestly, and like there's a lot of other celebrities that say this as well, like Drake's a dork. He's like he's the quote cool guy who's just such an ultimate dork. Because he's trying so hard that it's just so dorky. Because nobody believes, nobody's been like, Drake just seems so hard. There he is again. Look on his face even. It's just like it's so dorky. It's so stupid. You live it up now, kid. You're on your private jet. You're on your private jet. It's late at night. You got the skyline you can see. You're living it up now. There you go. There he is again. And again, what I said just a moment ago about Drake, I have to remind myself too, like to rein it in as well. Like, because one of the things that turns me off sometimes when I watch a lot of these videos is of other people that do similar work is that it becomes kind of nasty and petty and personal, and like, let's just stick to the facts. So but that is my personal opinion. Like Drake, kind of seems a little dorky, but whatever. That's my personal. There he is. He just likes to train owls, I guess, as well. He just likes owls. He really, really likes owls. Enough to like make it his official logo. And to tattoo it across his chest. Boy, I wish I could see better the other tattoos. Because there's more than that. There you go, throwing up the pyramid. Just a classic sort of. It's basically, when you see that, everybody thinks pyramid and Egypt and all this. It's also saying, like, I'm an initiate, man. Like, start looking at like the straight, where it's not a celebrity or whatever else. Just look into some documentaries on Wiccans and witchcraft and all this. Like, during their ceremonies, like the chief officiant will do that as they come before the altar. Drew Barrymore channeling David Bowie. Again, you got to have the tongue thing. We all just like, come on. It's been popularized. No, every time you see this, the other manifestations, you see that too. That's why Scripture says, like, who are you mocking, sticking out your tongue? There's Drew again. There's Drew Barrymore, who, again, like the other child actors and actresses we saw grow up, and they just happen to become Satanists for whatever reason. Here she is with a monarch butterfly necklace on. There she is with... I mean, come on. Like, at what point are you just going to stop being in denial if you still are watching this? Hey, Drew, cover up your eyeball with the model plane. That'll be a really cool photo. Why don't I just hold the model plane like this? Why gotta always cover my eyeball up? Like, why? Oh, I know why, because I'm part of the club. Like, hey, man, goes without saying. Duan, not sure who that is. Dujuan. Okay, there she is. Dua Lipa. Got the rainbow, too. Doing a little one-eyed for you. Somewhere over the rainbow. Pay attention to that one, folks. You think this is all science fiction? It ain't science fiction. Look into Fritz's research. Look into other people that have researched MKUltra. They talk about going over the rainbow. The MKUltra victims. There she is again. Dolce Maria. Not sure who that is, but some of you may know who that is. There she is again. Oh, you got all the best of both worlds. Oh, you think that's about peace, do you? This little symbol right here. That's just about peace. It's a witchcraft rune. You just saw it on Damien Eccles' hand earlier. They call it the crow's foot. Sometimes it's the cross of the broken Jew. This is an inverted cross, and when Peter was crucified, the apostle Peter, it was like this, because his arms were broken as well. It's an anti-Christian symbol, always has been. And then you'll also see, too, for whatever reason, they like the pentagrams. Oh, but they're just stars. No, those are pentagrams. That is a pentagram. And she's doing the one-eyed for you. Dustin Hoffman, Rain Man, talented actor, won all kinds of awards, has such a wholesome image. He's just letting you know everything's A-okay. Well, if it was just that one with the look on his face, you could, maybe we could accept that. Oh, hi, Dustin. Rain Man. Oh. And again, if I might comment here, a little different here. It's like no light in the eye. It's like kind of like nobody's home. Nobody's home. It's like I will robotically put my hand over my eyeball now. Shh, keep quiet, folks. There you go again. There you go again. Harpocrates. Harpocrates. Greco-Roman version of Horus. And what's this? Horus. Who's Horus? The devil. Same name, 1,000 different faces. Devil goes by many names. There's Dustin again. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who on SNL just jokingly hails Satan. Because it's all just a joke. They want you all to believe that. This is all just a joke. Die Hard had, you'll notice from yesterday, Die Hard had a similar poster. They call this potential predictive programming. A lot of people think this is sort of alluding to 9/11. You got the one-eyed symbol going on there as well, as usual. But yeah, look at Die Hard with Bruce Willis movie poster as well. Same, almost exactly to a T, the same thing. Ed Norton.